Hello, this is John Alexis Guerra Gomez again with Northeastern University, the online course for web development. We are in the last week and we are just going forward the last elements of the final project. And one of the most important ones that you have to consider along with design that we have been talking a lot and usability is accessibility. So the whole idea of accessibility is this whole concept on how you can provide different affordances for people with disabilities. But when you're thinking on that, I want you to be thinking that it's not like for them, like, I don't know, for a blind person or for a deaf person. Like we should be thinking it's how can I provide affordances and universal usability for everyone? Because we all have disabilities. So there's might be like some situations like right now, as a professor, I am disabled in the sense that I cannot see you all. So that way I cannot know if you're understanding or not the concepts that I'm teaching. So that's a situational disability. You can also have other elements or other situations where temporarily you cannot perform or interact with an interface in a certain way. Like my favorite example for that is that if you're driving, then usually you're not going to be able to see the screen of your application. So if you're creating an application that needs to be used when people are driving or not, then you have to provide one way of interacting with that when it is not. And then there is some other ones that can be more permanent or less, which are the most common ones that we have. Things like visual, motor disabilities, hearing, or cognitive disabilities. This is a whole world, and I've been working on related projects to this, especially to visual impairment. So I can tell you that it's a whole universe on each one of those disabilities. But the best thing that you can think of is how I can provide like the best elements for regardless of which ones you have. Okay, so the easiest way that we can apply it for web development, it's by looking at the different standards that have been created to try to enforce better usability or accessibility on web applications. So the most famous standard is called WCAG. And basically they do have, like, actually I think it's 2.2 is the latest version. So the latest version is WCAG 2.2. As you can see, it's from December 2024. And it contains like a whole description of all the different things that you should have on your application. So this is very important because if you're creating an application for a big company or even for a smaller one, it is crucial that your application is WCAG 2.2 compliant, especially if you're creating a service that could put people in a sort of that is required for them to be able to complete it. Classical examples of this is that if you're creating like, I don't know, like an airline website, unless you provide something like this, then people in condition of disability will not be able to access your application and your company could be sued. So it is very important that you do this, but always do it more, not so much for thinking on the punishment, but just for making the application better. Now, one of the biggest problems with WCAG and things like that, although WCAG 2.2, as you can see here, it's a little bit less, like, how to say, like obscure in the sense of like all of the things you can do it. I can see that they improve a lot the organization. There are some other things that you can do for making this even more like easier to understand. So for instance, this WebAIM, it's a project that helps you create like a whole checklist of all the things that you have to do on your specific application. And I really like it because it's a little bit more like as an action item, like list of actions that you can check for your application. So take a look at those first. And then next, we're going to be talking about focus.